Yo, what's up, everybody, including Lottie Dottie? You already know what it is. It's your boy Retro with you on today. This is the day that the Lord has made. All right, let's get it cracking, guys. Let's get it cracking. All right, so we're going to do this, folks. Again, thank you for pressing play and joining us on today. Let's go ahead and get this stuff sorted out here. Bada boom, bada bang. You already know, folks. Hopefully we're sounding good, man. I think a few things might be potentially off, but how are you guys doing? Go ahead and do me a favor and light up the comment section if all is well on your end. Today feels like a Monday that came right after Friday. That's just kind of weird. Yeah, that's just kind of weird. Quite a bit going on today, and we want to talk about the fact that it is a new day. Yeah, we want to talk about the fact that it is indeed a new day. And now there's a scripture. I should have pulled it up. I should have looked it up and quoted it verbatim, word for word. But it talks about his mercies are new every morning. Great is thy faithfulness. So if we were to pause for the cause and talk about it for a little bit, it would enlighten you. It would potentially change your life. And if nothing else, your perspective. But then again, if your perspective is changed, now your life can be changed, because some of us are stuck in a stronghold, which in my humble opinion, or my way of defining it, is a faulty process of thinking. One's perspective is one's reality. Now, your reality, because of your perspective, does not have to be truth. But simply, if you perceive it to be such and such a way, then that becomes your reality, even though it's a lie. The Bible talks about believing a lie and be damned. Okay, let's get back on track here. So his mercies are new every morning. Great is thy faithfulness. And so if we were to really take that and understand it, really digest it, really look at it, really, then you would understand that even though you failed yesterday, doesn't mean you have to fail today. Today is your day. Today is your opportunity. Today is your chance to get it right, to do it better, to redeem yourself. No, I said redeem yourself. And some of us stand in a place where we need to be redeemed, because we were doing things for the wrong reasons and for the wrong people. Yeah. I told you on a previous broadcast, don't wait for them to validate you. Today is a new day. God has extended unto each of us a new slate of mercy, grace, etc., etc. And so don't let yesterday, which is now your past, rob you of your present, which is a new slate of grace. Come on, somebody. And cause you to forfeit your future. Are you guys listening to me on this morning? That's all I want to know is whether or not you are listening to me on this morning. Let me take a quick commercial break. Don't mind me. Don't mind me.
Come on, help us say it, sir. Come on, help us say it. You know what I'm talking about.
Okay, I don't know about you, but I love the Lord because he heard my cry. Is there anybody under the sound of my voice that could join in? Is there anybody under the sound of my voice, other than myself and the one and only Mr. C1s, that would join in and declare that you are a living testimony? I'm calling this segment the segment of praise. Come on, somebody. You've got to acknowledge what you've gone through, where you are, and you've got to see where he's taking you, because he has an expected end for you and for me. Please excuse me. We're doing some rearranging here. This is what I call the segment of praise. I don't care if you're church folk or not. We're going to give him some praise here on the Retro Philosophy Show. How about that?
I could have been dead and gone, but Lord, you let me live on.
Yes, Lord. Get your glasses on and put them on, whether they're readers, bifocals, trifocals, whatever. Put them on, because you got to see that God is moving on your behalf. You've got to understand and know that in spite of what you are facing, come on now, in spite of what you're facing, the hand of God is moving on your behalf. This, my dear brothers and sisters, is a new day. Yeah, take no thought for tomorrows. See, that's the problem now. God gave you a whole new slate of grace, and you about to ruin it because you are overly concerned about tomorrow that ain't even got here yet. I told you the other day, Annie sang the song, tomorrow is always a day away. Tomorrow never comes. And so take advantage of today. Some of you are facing something, and it's a retest of what you had to go through previously. But stop letting the last results frighten you in this new opportunity that you have. Stop letting the fact that Keisha, well, we might have some Keishas watching. Let's just use Lottie Dottie, okay? Because I don't think nobody's name is Lottie Dottie. So just because Lottie Dottie did you wrong and let you down before, doesn't mean that these next group of people are going to let you down. Stop penalizing people who have been sent into your life as a present to be penalized because of what some bozo did last week, last month, last year, last whatever. Okay, I don't know who I'm talking to, but I sure hope that you are listening to the words that are coming out of my mouth on this morning. This, brothers and sisters, is the praise segment. Before you do anything else, I know you got a bad track record. I know you've done some bad things. So have I. But I need for you to readjust by simply giving God some praise. Now, I get it. You might not be used to this. You might not be acquainted with this. And this might not be your style or your flex or your vibe or your stilo or your get down or whatever it is. It might, okay, I get that. So don't try to praise God the way I do, but simply just start small. Simply say, Lord, I just want to thank you. Just that simple. Lord, I just want to thank you. Now, I promise you that if you continue to do this daily, you get up in the morning and you just say, Lord, I just want to thank you. Lord, I just want to thank you. Now, the first day, the second day, whatever, you might just say, well, Lord, I just want to thank you. But by the third day, hear me, folks. By the third day, it's going to change from just, Lord, I just want to thank you, to now you're being specific as it relates to what you're thanking for. I thank you for another day. I thank you for keeping me on yesterday. And it's going to continue to grow. Praise, ladies and gentlemen, it's contagious. It's infectious. It's powerful. I'm talking about praise, the power of praise. Praise will confuse the enemy. Okay. And so what we do so often is we say, I'm a man, I got this. I'm a grown woman, I can handle this. And you can, and you grown, and you probably could handle it. But how about walking in victory versus just handling it? If I handle something, I'm working with it. But to have victory over it, it's a whole nother situation and whole nother conversation. I'm just saying. So please, my dear brothers and my dear sisters, begin to give the Lord praise every morning. Ladies and gentlemen, saints and ain'ts, everybody, including Lottie Dottie, let's make some noise for the one and only Mr. Nick Holly Sr. in the building. What's going on, homie? My homie from Wyoming, my cat and all that. Lord, I just want to thank you. That's how you can tell this brother right here is an old player from back in the day. He got game for days. He got swag for days. Come on now. Let's make some noise for the one and only Pastor Nick Holly Sr. What's going on, big bro? Hope all is well with you and yours. And man, we got to get up there and see you. We got some patches to get up to Ohio. These are not the Ohio patches. They are actually no, that's That's the Florida ones over there. But I got the Ohio patches. They're actually downstairs. And so Nick Holly, we got Mike, Frank, Meso Young. Shout out to Meso Young. We had the privilege and the honor of riding with those gentlemen. Oh, it's been a few weeks now. But when did we go up there? Last month sometime, and we rode the four corners the four corners of Ohio, and it was absolutely splendid. Great ride with great people, and and so we got their patches, and we're going to get those delivered to them. Just in case you do not know, we are so far have been able to ensure that each and every patch that has been earned by you, the rider, has been hand delivered. Let's make some noise for Lady McIver in the building. What's going on, Shelly? Shelly McIver. Yes, sir. That's my bride there, aka Specs, is in the building, making it do what it do. She says, "I am a living testimony," and true story, we are. We are living. Ooh, y'all, hold on one second. Let me clear my throat. But it is indeed a new day, ladies and gentlemen, of which we ought to be thankful, grateful, appreciative, and take advantage of it. Okay, take advantage of it. All we need is just one chance. Yeah. And this, brothers and sisters, it is indeed your chance. Now, I said praise will confuse the enemy. But be careful, because if you let out a good praise, it might confuse yourself too. What do you mean by that? What I mean by that is you've been going through so much for so long. You almost have become, I'm not going to say immune, but you certainly have become used to it. And you have become just kind of, you know what, it is what it is. And every now and then you'll let out a praise. Which songwriter says, I got to praise, and I got to get it out. And it'll confuse you, because you was like, good Lord, all this stuff I'm going through, where did such a exuberant praise even come from? And when you release it, when you let it, okay, let me, this is going to be pretty nasty, but y'all please bear with me and pray for me. You ever, think you was going to let out a quiet one, a silent killer, and all of a sudden it was and everybody like, oh Lord Jesus, and so it is with your praise sometimes. Yeah, you're going to release your praise because you got to give him praise, but you didn't realize it was going to be such a loud praise. You didn't realize it was going to be such a demonstrative praise. You didn't realize it was going to be such an animated praise. But once you let that thing go, man, it took a life of its own, man. It took a life of its own. And sometimes that's what we need. It happened to David, King David, because David, we're going to move on here in just a moment, but King David had gotten to the place where he says, there's no need for me to reign as king without the presence of God. If y'all know the story, you know the story. The Ark of God had been taken. Come on, and it was up, I believe, Obed-Edom's house. And so David, as king, says, look, we need the presence of God here in the camp. And so they made up their mind. They were going to go and retrieve the Ark of the Lord. And as they were doing so, a man by the name of Uzzah, Uzzah was his name. He reached out to try and steady it, because the oxen that were carrying it, they stumbled, and it looked as though it was going to fall. Let me tell you this. God will never fall. The presence of God will never fall. And so he reaches out to handle it, to help it, and he dies. And David is confused. I mean, this is one of my best soldiers, and we are going to try to get the Ark of God back, and now this. And so they he has to make a second attempt. Can I tell somebody that's listening, you're going to make it on the second attempt? Stop putting too much energy on the first attempt. The second attempt is going to work. Somebody needs to hear that this morning. You're going to mess around and ruin the second chance or the second attempt because you're so focused on the first attempt. Okay, and so this time it's different. David realizes how urgent this situation is. And so he does a little research, if you will. Anyway, they get the ark and they're on their way back. I don't remember the exact number, but after several paces, they realize that everybody's good, everything's in place, we good, and David begins to give God praise. And he does this all the way until they get back into the camp. And as they're coming into the camp with the presence of God, his wife, the daughter of Saul, is sitting up in the castle looking out the window, seeing her husband dance before the Lord and before the handmaidens and vigorously till he danced out of his kingly garments. And his wife looked at him and despised him as a result. And David's response in so many words as she tried to belittle him for praising God in front of the handmaidens and so on and so forth. And in so many words, what David said is, you ain't seen nothing yet. You know, see, when you know who God is, you ain't too much worried about some so-called sophisticated, uptight, self-righteous individual who's more worried about a title and position than they are relationship and access. Come on now. I don't know who I'm talking to, but somebody ought to. Yeah, somebody ought to let out a sanctified moan. I get so tired of some of y'all good singing folk. I need some folk that know how to moan sometimes and just tell the Lord, yeah, I love the Lord. Yes, he did. Anybody know that he heard your cry? Victory, my brother. I never want to be any place that the presence of God is absent. And this is exactly, Pastor Nick, where David was at. You know, he says, I'm reigning as king. Now, you got to look at the story of David. Now, he was anointed to become. And in the process of becoming, he went through turmoil. He went through hell and high water, almost about doggone lost his mind. You'll see that in the book of 1 Samuel. He almost about lost his mind. But he finally pulls it together. He pulls it together, and we see him. He takes his prophesied seat as king, and David gets to the point where he says, now that I'm here, something's missing. See, the ark of God was taken under the reign of King Saul. But under David's reign, he goes and recaptures the glory of the Lord, the presence of the Lord, and brings it back into its rightful place. David understood, just like Pastor Nick understands, I don't want to be anywhere where the presence of God is absent. And so David said, you can take my robe, you can take my castle, you can take my horses, my chariots, you can take it all. But just give me the presence of the Lord. On one occasion, David said, take not thy Holy Spirit from me. Who is I talking to on this morning? I should be moving right now, but I just feel the presence of the Lord. Y'all. One last time. I ain't always got it right, but one thing I do know. I love the Lord. Yeah, I love the Lord. You might question my motive. You might question my approach. You might even question my integrity. That's a stretch right there now. But you may, you got that right to do so. But don't question my love for God. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Because I know I said one last time, but one last time. Okay, all right, we can move on. Thank you, Frank. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Yes, sir. Sometimes you just got to go back, folks. Sometimes you just got to go back. I'm talking about way back, like a Cadillac on full flats, with the seats reclined all the way back, and even got some dice hanging from the mirror. And that's when you know you're really all the way back. Let's make some noise for God in this place on today, folks. I said, let's make some noise for the Lord. Okay, where we at? Okay, that's not going to do? Okay, I see what's going on here. All right, ladies and gentlemen, saints and ain'ts, everybody, including Lottie Dottie. I think I said enough about that. Hopefully something resonated with somebody, and you are encouraged to give God some praise, some glory, and some honor, regardless of how your day may or may not be going, okay? So today is a new day. And you have a new set of grace and new set of mercy and so on and so forth. So make sure that you work with it, okay? Don't be scared. Don't be afraid. We talked about that last night during Bible study, and I forgot to share it to my page as we were live, but I did share the broadcast later. So if you are interested in our Bible study on last night, by all means, check it out. You can also go to upperpraiseministries.com. You can also go to Upper Praise Ministries of Mooresville on YouTube, and make sure you hit the like button there, like and the subscribe button. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, saints and aides, everybody, including Lottie Dottie, I want to invite you to what we are calling Mission 448. Okay. Now, Mission 448 is it's really cool in my opinion. Let me see if I can fix my screen thingamajiggy here. Bada boom, bada bang. Let's see here. Well, let me talk about it while we set this up here. We are doing Mission 448, which is the four corners of the lower 48 states, and you can be a part of this cool. What do we call it? Movement? I guess we can call it a movement. We can call it a movement. How about that, folks? We call it a movement. We'll call it a movement. Okay. Let's see here. Bada boom, bada bang. Bada boom, bada bang. All right, we'll work with this one here. We'll work with this one right here, guys. So we got North Carolina, of course, because that is hometown, and so we have done that one, and we've done several of the corners, and we got some more people that are gearing up to do it. And so with that said and done, we would like to offer you the opportunity to get on board and ride with us on one of these rides. The Four Corners of North Carolina is really cool. It consists of Wilmington, North Carolina, Kitty Hawk, North Carolina, which is the Outer Banks. Very pretty, some really nice riding up that way. And then, of course, you have the Sparta, and then on to Murphy being the fourth. That was the direction that we did when we did it. We hit Wilmington, Kitty Hawk, Sparta, and then Murphy. Now, the beautiful thing about it is you can do it on your own timing, and you can also do it in your own way. And what I mean by in your own way is simply you can you don't have to do the in that same direction. Depending on where you reside may determine where you need to start at. Okay, so let's just say you are in the maybe let's say you're in what's close up there. Let's say you stay in Statesville, okay, and you say, well, Sparta is closer, so I'm going to start in Sparta. Then you can do that. You can crisscross. You can do it how you want to. You just have to hit the four corners within that ride. That's the only requirement, okay, and then you will get your patch, which is 3 inches in diameter. Very good patch. We had some made for one of the other states, and there was a little bleeding over of the lettering. I says, nah, we can't do that. We can't do that. And so we kept tweaking it until they got it right. What I'm getting at is we're trying to make sure that you get a patch that is worth wearing, worth putting on your cut or your vest or your jacket or wherever you're going to put it. And again, we're going for the 48. Let me see if I can do this. For the four corners of each of the 48 states. We're not going to stop with just North Carolina. We have already done several others. Shout out to Kodak the Ground Pounder. We're going to talk about Kodak here in a little bit because Kodak has knocked out a couple as well. Highway Dre, my goodness, man, he's on a roll. We can't leave out Big Pimpin', a.k.a. Nomad, a.k.a. Brandon, a.k.a. Big Pimpin', Nomad, etc., etc. He's done several as well. Big Frizz has done a couple, man. And so we're just appreciative of everybody. We have some others that have registered, and they'll be launching out to do theirs as well. And we had a very positive phone call on last night. So we got some good folks that are going to be knocking out the NC Four Corners. I'll just keep that on wraps for now. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But you can do it as well. Big shout outs to Sparkle. We are going to be having her on the show. We had some things to pop up on Monday because initially we were going to have her on this past Monday. Sparkle came down from Tennessee, her along with Bill and the rest of the crew. I affectionately called them studs and stilettos, rightfully so, because they were, my goodness, they was blinged out, man. They was making it do what it do, and they really had a great ride. But they came all the way down from Tennessee, ladies and gentlemen. Came down from Tennessee to do the NC Four Corners, and so you don't have to live in North Carolina to do the NC Four Corners. You can travel down here and knock it out. You got the beach, you got the mountains, so you get the best of both worlds, literally. Another great one that I'm going to really that I really want to promote as well is the Georgia Four Corners. It was only about maybe, I think it was about maybe 700 miles, 600 miles, something like that, from the first corner to the last corner. Now, if you include the mileage from wherever you live, of course, that's going to, increase. So you can easily knock out 1,000 miles doing it, depending on where you actually live. But with that said and done, it is not intended to be an iron butt. I think the Iron Butt Association does an excellent job, as they have been doing for many years. But this is not that, and that is not this. We are literally encouraging you to slow down and take your time when you do the Four Corners of North Carolina, Georgia, whatever state it is that you do. Because as you can see at the bottom of the screen, we have several that are open for registration, okay? And we, again, are going for each of the 48 states, okay? So if your state is not on the screen, bear with us, it'll be there soon. And there are more that are open that are not on the screen right now. But we want you to slow down and enjoy it. We took 2 days to do the NC Four Corners. I thought that was great. However, we kind of... we stopped at the Outer Banks and we enjoyed it. We spent the night there. The plan was to actually bed down in Rocky Mount. So because we bed down earlier than we were intending to, it threw us off the next day. We did get to Rocky Mount the next day, and we chilled with the street soldiers. Shout out to the street soldiers in the building. And then it just kind of threw us off in terms of our timing. So we got to Murphy after midnight, and that is not what I would recommend. Getting to getting to Sparta and Murphy, you certainly want to do that during the daylight, unless you're a daredevil and you just love riding those sharp curves with no guardrails during the nighttime when you can barely see over the ravine. So if that's your thing, then that's your thing. So anyway, that's that for North Carolina. Georgia was a really cool ride, man. You got a lot of mountains up in there as well, going through Lookout Mountain. Absolutely beautiful, and a lot of back road riding during the Four Corners of Georgia. So, ladies and gentlemen, saints and ain'ts, everybody, including Lottie Dottie, we want to thank you for supporting this movement. The Cam Fam, Kingdom Alignment Motorcycle Ministry, Four Corners Ride, collecting miles and smiles. Okay, let's make some noise there. So make sure you put that on your calendar. Again, if you do need any more information, feel free to reach out to me. I can't forget World Riders. They knocked out the NC Four Corners as well, man. I want to say it was about maybe, I think it might have been about 6 of them or something like that. But they had a good portion of their club to ride that together. And so what I'm getting at is it could be a great ride for you and your club or your organization. Shout out to Christ Descendants. They did the VA Four Corners. And so they knocked that out. We met with them up at the Tell of the Dragon earlier this month to present them with their patches. And so you'll be hearing from them as well. And so it's a great ride for you and your club or your organization. It is also a great ride. Shout out to Icy. She knocked it out when we did it, and she did it in anticipation of doing the I-10 to the end. So for her, it was a good warm up, just getting back in the saddle. It was we did it in October, and so she did the ride in preparation for the cross country ride. So the Four Corners of your state could be a good ride to get you back in the saddle, if you will, back in the groove, or to just simply get you ready for a longer longer extended ride. Okay. And you can see parts of your state that probably normally you wouldn't really get out and explore. Okay, so that's what the Mission 448 is all about. Again, if you have any questions or any comments, make sure you holler at your boy and we will fill you in. Keep it locked and don't you dare touch that dial. We're going to take a quick commercial break and we'll be right back here on the Retro Philosophy Show. What do we got here? Are we gonna? Okay. Well, maybe we won't do the quick commercial break. All right, little technical difficulties. That's okay. So we'll move on to our next segment, man. We're gonna talk about some things. Okay, I see what's going on. So we're just gonna do this real quick. Bada boom, bada bang. There we go, ladies and gentlemen, saints and ain'ts, everybody, including Lottie Dottie. We want to talk about some live breaking news. Okay, we want to give a shout out, as I said earlier. Let me see if I can. Bada boom, bada bang. No, you ain't gonna work for me. Okay, I see what's going on here. Sometimes it just is what it is. And so we'll just move on, man. Again, what we want to give a shout out, man, to the one and only Kodak the Ground Pounder out there doing his thing. He and the rest of the group he's been riding with. So we're just asking that you guys would keep those brothers lifted in prayer. They're out there getting some serious miles. Let me see if we got this thing sorted out right. Bada boom, bada bang. We'll get back to that one. No, that's not the one we want either. Boy. Okay, well, we'll start with this one. So Kodak the Ground Pounder, as you know, he's a good friend of mine. I think a lot of Kodak, you can probably figure that out by now. But they launched out to do the four corners of the United States. And in the process, they rode across Canada. And then they didn't stop there. They went on up into Alaska. And then they didn't stop once they crossed the Alaska border. They went on up all the way up top and all the way to the Dalton Highway. They did experience a few little issues with the bikes on the Dalton Road. It got kind of dicey, if you will. But thank God for his grace and for his mercy. We certainly have been keeping those brothers in prayer as they have been driving, I should say riding, excuse me. And so we wanted to just share that on today and highlight some of their adventures. So if you guys would love to support my man Kodak the Ground Pounder, that's his Cash App. So you can do so by just going on there. There they are there at the Mount McKinley Harley Davidson. Man, they're getting it in, man. Brothers are getting it in, man. And so make sure we keep those brothers lifted in our prayers. But guess what, folks? They are not the only ones that are venturing out. Yeah, we got some ladies that's out there. Shout out to Gator. And her friend there, they've launched out. I think they've been out there on the road now for almost a week or so. So I can't get my sound effects and stuff working for whatever crazy reason. Probably not. But we want to make some noise for these young ladies out there getting it in. Now, your boy has been talking about doing, well, I haven't really been talking about it. I've talked about it here or there. But we've been thinking about the Alaska run. So watching these guys do it is definitely inspiration. And we'll be getting some of these folks on the Retro Philosophy Show to share their experience on their ride to Alaska. So again, shout out to Kodak, Caesar, Big Frizz, and the rest of the crew, Gator, out there, as we say, making it do what it do. And in my opinion, brothers and sisters, that is breaking news. Yeah. Because that's in the words of Kodak the Round Pounder, that's not the Chitlin circuit there. You beyond the Chitlin circuit there. That's some serious riding for real. Speaking of some serious riding and taking on some, daunting tasks, let's make some noise for Mr. FHO in the building, Big Sale himself. That brother, he took on the task of taking like 20-some women. Look at them out there. They, across country. They left Atlanta, and now they are in California, and I could only imagine 20 some women going across country on motorcycles, so that, brothers and sisters, is breaking news. Last but certainly not least, I want to talk about a good friend of mine. He's got some stuff going on, and we have been trying to connect, and we will certainly do our best to collaborate with him in the very near future. The one and only Mr. Daniel, he says, join me on these Promise LA pages as we bring the gospel live on location. Now, they're going to be in Paris, September 1st and 8th, and then they will be in New York on September the 14th. That's Promise LA. And so you can check them out on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and you can even check him out. He's been here on the Retro Philosophy Show in the past, and he will be on again in the future. So make sure you guys keep it locked, and don't you dare touch that. I think last year they were in Mexico, and so they're doing great things, promoting the gospel, sharing the gospel. He himself has an awesome testimony. Let me see if I can do this real quick. Bada boom, bada bang. So if you go to his Facebook page, you can see all the information about what they're doing and why they're doing what they're doing. Bada boom, bada bang. And so really, like I said, he has a really cool testimony, man. He's a good brother. And so this is what they're doing. Exciting news. We'll be sharing the gospel online and on location later this summer in Paris and in New York. So make sure you mark your calendars and carve out that time. But again, ladies and gentlemen, when you get some time, go over and check out his Facebook page. His name is Daniel Newcomb. And you can get all the questions you need answered by going to his page. You can even send him a message, and I'm sure he would be elated to sit down with you via phone or Skype or whatever, and just share not only his vision but his plan, etc. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, saints and saints, everybody, including Lottie Dottie, it's your boy Retro with you on today, making it do what it do. You know why? Because today is a new day, a brand new day, might I add, a brand new day. And with that being said, folks, don't be scared to get out there and make it do what it do. All right. You got to wake up. It's time to wake up. You've been sleeping too long. I believe the Apostle Paul said it is high time to awake out of sleep. Yeah, it is high time to awake out of sleep. The night is far spent and the day is at hand, folks. And so, again, work with it. Today is a new day. Okay. Yeah, today is a new day. I'm going to get out y'all's way, man. Again, we want to thank you for being a part of the Retro Philosophy Show. And please do me a favor. Have yourself a great day. Not a good day, but a great day.
You're the only power that can save this world today.